What's up, my friends? We are live and direct. See, I made the executive decision that the countdown was too long. However, here I am scrambling to get it shared again. We're going to have to figure something out with the countdown. But the phone's out of my hands. We're here. We're ready to go. So what is this? What am I doing here live right now? You know, as I explained earlier, I went out for a smoke and I went on live, and I guess my mic was fucked up on my phone, so I guess I'll reiterate a little bit. I was thinking that it's really important for me right now to be telling my story. You know, as much as I love telling other people's stories through interviews, that's part of my calling, I'm just really feeling this sense that it's time to start telling mine and not hold everything for later, and not keep, you know, my personal day-to-day real life so separate from what I do. And that's sort of what the theme of this is about today. This might be a little rocky. It's my first time doing it like this, a solo show like this with video. We're doing it live. It might get some views. It might not. Frankly, I don't even care. And like I said, that's sort of the central theme of what I want to talk about right now. So I went through this really weird situation this past couple of weeks. And, you know, as somebody who's online doing digital media, it's always really important that someone in my shoes is looking for the next delivery methods, the next places and apps and websites that are going to become successful in terms of what you do and getting the word out there. So I downloaded TikTok, the app, and I started getting into it. Now, I've never really used TikTok. I experimented with scrolling through it when it first came out. But honestly, whenever I have gone on TikTok, and still to this day, the shit just gives me a headache. I don't know what it is about that app, but the noise trends that become popular, the sound effects that become popular that people use, and a lot of this stuff is just, it feels like an assault on the senses. It's just constant things coming at you on TikTok. So I've never really chose to use it for fun. And frankly, this stuff is a stretch for me. You know, because I really use social media as a tool. I don't really use it for fun as much. You guys are super cool. Like, all my people on Facebook, you know, like, that's the only place that I really like to communicate because you guys know music, you guys know what's up. But in terms of social media for trends and for my own personal enjoyment, I really don't get much out of it. But I said, you know what? I got to slay that dragon because I am a digital creator. This is my job, and this is a business. This is a business. So I was like, I got to get some more business tools. So I got the app. And, you know, I've always prided myself on the fact that I've always made content from the heart. And I've never made content that was designed only to get views. What I mean by that is I've never done stuff specifically so that it goes viral. I've never tried to be malicious to my guest and get them to say negative shit and twist it in like a TMZ-like way. So when you decide to take that route, that's not the easy route, that's the hard road. That's what it is for what I'm doing. The easy route is to do those things and to take those tactics. And the route that I'm taking is the hard road, to just naturally build something organically, not by using clickbait, not by being negative, not by being, you know, having people being overtly sexual or talk about, you know, like all this crazy shit. And it just so happens that that's like the opposite of the trend right now. The trend is all of the things that I'm saying I'm not doing. So when I went into that TikTok world, I actually found myself getting pulled into it for a couple days and just noticing the trend of nothingness that is surrounding us. How empty and hollow so much content is that is so wildly popular. And I've always had a way to just have tunnel vision and just see past that. I've always known that if you just stick to what you do, especially if you're getting positive reactions, it'll work out. I've always known this. But this was a weird thing because I felt like what happened with me was a battle between the ego and the true self. When I say ego, I don't mean like, oh, I think I'm so cool. I'm not that type of guy. What I mean is looking at what other people have sometimes and being like, I should have that. Or why am I not included in this? That is what I mean by ego. And the true self being why I started this in the first place. Just wanting to put cool things out for people to enjoy. Wanting to talk about music that I like. Wanting to share people's stories. And both of these things, the ego and the true self, just collided for me in this TikTok thing. looking at what's popular and trying to insert myself into what's already going on. These are all things that I've never, ever fallen victim to. It's never been an issue for me. I've always been comfortable doing what I do. But I've also never had something that's such an assault on the senses and that's veering in such a weird way of a trend as TikTok in my business field, and nobody has. So it's not the app itself. It's just that it was really a reflection of, it almost made me wonder if people wanted what I was doing. Because, for example, I'm watching a video of people literally doing nothing. Like literally doing nothing. Saying, I heard that if you just post a video doing nothing, you can go viral. And the stuff has like 1 million likes. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm putting hours of time. I've put a decade of my life into producing long form content with substance that matters. And I go to look at what's been popping that I've been trying to ignore, like what the hot stuff is right now. And a lot of it is literally people doing nothing. And they're doing numbers. And they're doing numbers bigger than me. And that was just a weird thing for me. And it was a culmination of so many things. Like, I always feel like an alien. I always feel like a stranger in a strange land. I don't fit any stereotypes. I'm racially ambiguous. I'm sort of a young guy. Like, nobody really knows what to make of me. You can't place me in the typical millennial category. I don't follow racial stereotypes or like anything. And that's a world on that app and on apps that are becoming popular where it's all based on those things. It's all based on what box you put yourself into. For females, a lot of the time is sexuality. For men, a lot of the time is machismo. This is all just stuff that I don't relate to at all. You know, so and it's not that, you know, so I was trying to place myself in that world, and it's been working great. Like, you know, we're doing numbers on some of the videos. But I just got this weird feeling of inferiority that I was like, I've been putting so much time and so much effort into doing this, and I don't have that following on TikTok that people have for doing nothing. But then it was like, whoa. Hang on a second. I've got clips here that have just surpassed 200,000 views on YouTube. Why am I not thinking about that? Because it doesn't matter. That's the honest truth. The people on TikTok that, you know, will get 1 million views doing nothing could never get 500,000 views doing, or even, you know, 10,000 views doing anything on YouTube. But even so, it doesn't matter. That's what this thing really helped me realize. And you got to understand where this is coming from. You need balance. Like, I know my purpose. I know why I'm doing this and stuff. But I'm a young man. And your ego, so to speak, at this age it's like a fire that you want to keep stoking and stoking and stoking and stoking. And it's insatiable if you start. And even, I've heard the term, don't stare at money too long. It's Medusa. That's Kanye West. That's how I feel about likes and views. If you look at that shit for too long, and you start sizing up what people have compared to what you have and what they're doing compared to what you're doing, that's just like Medusa, because it'll freeze you. It'll turn you to stone because you can't move forward. It's like, it's such a sick part of the human condition because views are now equated to your worth. Views are not equated to how many people have watched it. Views have nothing to do with people anymore. It's just numbers on a screen. So whether or not those people enjoyed what you do, whether or not they got something out of it and they go tell your friends, is the last thing that people usually think of when they're thinking about views. It's just the ego gratification. It's literally like a dick size. Like, mine's bigger than yours. Oh, you got 200,000? I got 300,000. Mine's bigger than yours. I could have 10, like, let's say I'm having an art gallery. I could have 10 people come in. And if that makes those people's day, that's good. And, you know, you could say, oh, that's just what people who don't get views could say. I get plenty of views. But whenever I get like 500,000 views on some shit or whatever, it doesn't make me happy. So I'm like, okay, let's say that I was doing numbers and I started doing some stupid trends on an app and I got 5 million followers or 1 million followers. What would that mean to me? Because that's what I'm realizing. Like, what's the difference between 100,000 and 200,000? If it's dollars, it's a big fucking difference. But if it's numbers on a screen that mean nothing, and it's not really connected to what the people, how they feel, what's the point? 200,000 people is enough, biggest artist in the world, Drake probably right now. He'd have to fill out a stadium 10 nights in a row roughly, or, to get some of these numbers, if you're doing a 10,000 seat place. So it's like, that's just what I want to impart, is that I even got lost in the fog of it for a minute because it's so alluring. Because all of the negative, ego-driven things are fed by this. And I think I just needed to go through that and question, like, is there a demand for what I do? Because I know there is. And it just reminded me to never veer into what other people are doing and to stay true to yourself. It's really important, man. It's really important. Because when you start to veer into what other people are doing, you start to make a subpar product because that's not you. So if I can caution anybody, it would be one thing. Don't look at what people have, That's the number one pet peeve. As I'm working on, in different companies and stuff, like helping them do shows and stuff like that, the one thing I'll hear often is, well, for Rogan, when he does his show, he'll go, stop. The second I hear the word Joe Rogan, the conversation's over. You cannot compare yourself as a podcaster to Joe Rogan because the circumstance of Joe Rogan is truly unique. It is otherworldly. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how he does what he does. He can do it any way he wants, and he will still attract the draw because he's Joe Rogan. You're not Joe Rogan. I'm not Joe Rogan. So us looking at him or anybody else is completely irrelevant. This goes for anybody. It goes for anybody. Don't size up what other people have. It's very rare that I try to say, hey, do this, do that. I think that's important. You can't be doing that shit. So I came out of it on the other side, and I came out of it realizing that what I'm doing is providing worth and is providing value. And that is something that's evergreen. And then I got a sign that was really interesting that I really needed. So one thing for my rock guys out there, Steven Tyler, he said this. He said, you will get serendipitous moments that, like, you'll be thinking of something, and then something related to that will pop up or happen in your life or appear in a magazine, whatever it may be. He says, if you follow those serendipitous moments, they will continue to happen more. So he's like, just keep following them, and then you'll keep getting more of them. So that's an advice that I've taken from Steven Tyler. So I got an email from, I'm not going to say what company, but it's one of the biggest media companies in the world. And they reached out to me and they wanted to license some footage of mine for a documentary that I'd made on YouTube. And I made this footage a year ago before the COVID lockdown. In terms of views, it has 1,000 views right now. I spent a whole day downtown doing this video at a rally, interviewing people. And then I probably spent a whole day working on it. And I only got 1,000 views. So in the scheme of like social value in terms of the trends right now, it wasn't as valuable as many things. However, a year after this video, I get an email from this company and they want to license some footage from it. And they basically just said, name your price. So it just goes to show the value of what's being provided goes beyond views and likes or whatever now, because it's evergreen content. It's content that can always be gone to, that will always be fresh. It's not on a time span. It's not dependent on what's hot right now. It's not dependent on anything. It's just dependent on the merit of the content. So they told me, name your price 6 months ago, right? Roughly 5 months ago. And then they said, we're still deciding if we're even doing this documentary, but we'll let you know. 5 months passed. I'm in a situation now where I'm making a big transition in my life and I seriously need money. I've been saving, but I definitely needed more. And after 5 months passed, they contacted me again when I was doubting the worth of my content. And they said, hi, so sorry about the wait on this, but we've decided we're making this documentary and we're going to go ahead with the offer. So you can look at that one of two ways. You can look at it as a coincidence and something that just happened, or you can look at it as I was desperately searching for, is what I'm doing worth it? Like many people do, and they're too scared to tell you. And then I got a sign. So I'm not going to tell you how to view it. View it however you want, but I saw a nice payday from it. I needed it, and I needed validation to know that what I was doing mattered. And it almost is insulting. I don't mean to be insulting because you're watching this right now, and you usually watch my stuff, and you always support me if you're here. And I love and appreciate everything. But again, the ego is something that is a nasty thing. It really is a nasty thing, and it has a funny way of picking away at the good things that you should be grateful for. No one's immune to that. It's very rare to find somebody immune to that. And I've been immune to it for a long time, but I'm not superhuman. You know, in your 20s, this is a very strange time where you want things and you want to do things that likely won't benefit you and stuff. And I may not know much, but I know that. Okay? At least I'm sane enough to know I'm crazy. Just to wrap it up, you know, I watched something really cool the other day that really made a huge impact on me. My mom had been telling me about this. She actually told me about this when I was a kid. When she was in university for social work, my mother did a course on grief and loss. And in the course for grief and loss, they showed a video documentary about Warren Zevon. And it was the documentary that Warren Zevon did right before dying of lung cancer. He knew he was going to die. He exceeded the length of time he was given, about 3 months. But he decided to, through writing and through music, his last album, of course, and through this documentary, to capture the final, basically, months of his life. And I watched this documentary, and I was never really familiar with Warren Zevon. That was an artist that I never knew musically. But just the way that he acted facing death and stuff, and the way that the people around him acted when he was facing death. Some people would laugh it up and act like this guy wasn't about to die in a couple weeks and he wasn't dying in front of them. And other people would be sort of speechless. And then, you know, and I'm not talking just regular guys. I'm talking Bruce Springsteen, like producers, people coming in here. And I don't know. It just helped me really realize the value of life, how precious life is. You know, this guy was battling to get into the studio to make a song, you know? So it just made me want to value what I have. It's like, I don't have to battle for that as hard. I don't have cancer. So I have no excuse, you know? And yeah, just seeing that human condition, it was cool. It was really cool. So yeah, I've been checking out Warren Zevon's music. I'm at a point musically where I always used to listen to like the same bands for some reason. And I think I've mentioned this before, but it's like you have to get over those bands. Sabbath, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. You have to get through those initial records. But now I'm at a point where I'm just putting on random concert videos on YouTube when I'm at home, when I'm spending time. I used to see videos of artists I'd never heard of and be like, well, why would I click that? But now I see it and I say, why wouldn't I click that? It's probably good. Do you think that they'd have 10,000 people in a crowd that went there that night watching them perform this song if it wasn't good? So then I click it, and usually it's good. So, you know, I've been getting into Warren Zevon, Elton John. God, see, it's one of those weird things. Whenever you're asked about your favorite artist, I find you can never answer. Like, at least I can't. You know, deeper into Soundgarden, Frank Zappa, of course, which I've talked about. So, yeah, really cool time musically. And really interesting time mentally, too. I'm doing a lot of interviews with people that are really opening my mind. So, yeah, I guess that's it, guys. I just wanted to hop on and I'm going to make this a regular thing. Basically, between interviews, I just want to get on here and tell my story and talk to you guys about what's going on. Believe it or not, even though I host the Cassius show, it's harder for me to open up than it is to keep quiet. By nature, I'm quite a private person. I love what I do, but what I do has never really been about me. It's been about the guest. And I think that it's just time to bridge that gap. I love you guys like family. So I'll talk to you like family. That's the bratch, the bratch, if I could talk. That's the gap that we're bridging today. So thanks for tuning into this. Hopefully you enjoyed. Please subscribe to all my feeds. The Watch Mojo podcast is going crazy. Inner Sleeve podcast. Lots of exciting stuff coming out there. And new episode with a guest for Cassius' show on Monday. So see you guys on Monday. Do like Ringo Starr. Peace and love. Peace and love.